Hey everyone, it's Jenica with Jenica's Journals, and I'm back today with a video about my new journal and kind of the route I took to get to my new journal. So if you're here, welcome. It's been a little bit since I posted a video and I've been anxious to get back. So I've been anxious to get back on YouTube. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this. I've had some really fun conversations and I really enjoy your comments. So thank you. Anyway, so on my last video, I think it was my last one. No, the one before that, I talked about how I was ending my journal and beginning a new journal. And what was I going to choose? The Sterling Ink A5 Slim or the new Leuchtturm 411. So my ultimate decision was this Sterling Ink. Well, okay, not my ultimate decision. My first decision was this. I asked my family and I took my own personal, well, the truth was I wanted to get back into Tomoe River paper. I had been in the Leuchtturm for 4 months. Leuchtturm. I say it wrong. I know I say it wrong. Anyway, I was in it and enjoyed it a lot, but I was in it for 4 months and I was looking forward to using all of my fountain pens. And I know historically speaking that Tomoe River paper has done that for me. Now I know all the drama, or not all the drama, but part of the drama that has to do with the new Tomoe River paper. And I'm not going to get into all that. I'm going to share my experience with this paper in this book and talk about some of my feelings related to it. Anyway, I chose this book because of the Tomoe River paper and this Pilot Pilot Vanishing Point or Decimo in a medium nib writes so beautifully, and I wanted to use it, as well as my Pilot Custom 92. These are pretty juicy pens and I was looking forward to using them. And actually I chose the Tomoe River paper because historically it's taken anything I've thrown at it. It's never been a question. The only thing I've had to deal with was dry times. So, and smearing, which doesn't really bother me in a journal. It does in a planner, but not in a journal. So I chose this book and I began writing in it. And I did not do my currently inked page. I literally just left a couple of pages for my currently inked. I started this month page, even though I was starting on April 6th, and I just began writing. And I brought out the Pilot. I did not test it. I did not do this currently inked. I didn't have a pen test page because I've never had to test Tomoe River paper. I know what it does. I've used it. I've filled multiple journals with that paper in it. And then I ended up with, I don't know if I can catch it really well here, but I have bleed through. And I wrote kind of this nasty little note. I was pretty frustrated because I think I turned it over and started to write and I just was like, I don't think this is going to work. So I put down a picture and I picked up another pen and it sort of did the same thing. Not as bad, but it was a lot more see-through, although I could live with this, but I really couldn't live with that. So I came forward and I did a currently inked or pen test, I guess, because at this point I was like, well, I don't know what's going on here, but let's see. So I chose these fountain pens, and again, I had this kind of ugly page. So this writing here is my Sailor pens that I use all the time, and then there's that Pilot capless. I can't remember what ink this is, so I didn't write it down. And then this Pilot Custom in the Birmingham pen coat, and both bled through. And I really don't even like the look of my Sailor pen on the other side of this paper. Although again, I could deal with all of this except for these two. I became very upset. And when I say upset, like I just mean, I say really upset, but that's only stationary really upset. It's not real life really upset. And I wasn't sure what to do. I reached out to Sterling Ink and asked them. I wasn't necessarily looking for I don't know, I'm not sure what I was looking for. I more than anything kind of wanted to know if they had heard it from other people, because I have their A5 common planner, and it's like the Tomoe River paper that I've always known. This, however, isn't. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't behave like it. And so it must be the new paper. And they responded back to me and told me that they had reached out to the manufacturer and that independent tests were done. They said that, you know, of course, every single page couldn't be tested, but, you know, this had passed their standards. Obviously, you can't write on every page of a notebook or you wouldn't have a notebook. And so this was a $47 notebook, and I bought a $12 clear cover. They did offer me 20% off for my troubles, but I declined that offer. I've kind of gone all over the place with my feelings on it, because at the end of the day, it matters, but it doesn't matter in the scheme of life. So I'm trying to keep perspective. I have had the suggestions that I could tape 2 pages together. So I could write on this one, I could tape 2 pages together. That is an idea. I think that might work. I have a 520 page notebook, and so that would be cut in half, but that's okay. I mean, I could do that. I might do that. I think that was an excellent suggestion. Still frustrating that I have to even consider it, but nevertheless, it's a possibility. And then someone else had mentioned writing on one page and maybe using the following page for photos, which is also a great idea. However, I still think it will look kind of ugly if there's bleed through. Now, there won't be bleed through on every paper, because I won't use, like, not all of these pens are going to bleed through. So I could just in my mind know, well, if I want to use the Pilot capless, it's going to bleed through. Or if I have something that bleeds through, then I can cover it up somehow. I guess that's an idea. The frustrating thing is, I don't feel like I should have to deal with this. I feel like this Tomoe River brand has, I don't know, there's an expectation with it. And so on Sterling Ink's behalf, there's an expectation as well. Like, they chose that paper based on its reputation, and it's not holding true to that reputation. And then they are depending on the manufacturer to produce the same quality standard product that we have grown used to, that their customers have grown used to. And the expectation isn't being met. On the manufacturer's side, you know, they're dealing with something new, a new formula, a new business, a new whatever, and they're just getting started. So do they deserve grace because they're trying hard to get their formula up to par with the old formula? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not sure. I don't know that there is a blame game to be played here. I just know that I spent a lot of money on this notebook and I had expectations. So maybe it's just me that needs to lower my expectations, or maybe I need to lower my standards. I'm not sure. But what happened in the moment was I was so frustrated over it, and I really didn't give myself time to really process it or decide what I was going to do. And in part, that was because I needed to journal. I wanted to journal. I didn't want a bunch of time to pass for me to kind of think about what I was going to do. And I knew that the more time I spent in here, a couple of things could happen. I could get used to it and deal with it, or I could get super frustrated and end up having to either copy the journal into another one or cut the pages out, or end up just using part of this journal, which is not really what I wanted to do. I decided to go ahead and copy my journal over to another one. So I am in the 411 now, which, you know, I kind of wish I had just decided on the 411, but then I would have eventually discovered this paper issue that, you know, most of us have already discovered even later in the game. So I moved over to the 411, and at the end of this video, I'll get into, or maybe I'll make another video about this leather cover that I have it in. I made this for myself. New journal cover, and it oddly, it looks a lot like the one I just came out of. And again, I'll talk about that in a bit. So here's my 411, and I started my currently inked page. And what I thought was, I think this is where I had gotten pretty frustrated too, was because, you know, I was coming from the 411 thinking, oh, I want to use my Pilot capless, and I think it's going to bleed through, or it has bled through in the past. And then I did this, and the Pilot capless did not bleed through. So the quality of paper here, I mean, hands down, I'm with my Leuchtturm. So I just went ahead, and I haven't finished this. This is going to be the same April page that this one is, or a similar one. I just need to print more of my cat collage stickers. And I just copied it over. I was thankful I didn't have very many days, but I just copied over mostly. Wasn't exactly, but it was mostly the same. And of course, I left this page out. There was no need to do that. And then I just went right into my journal. So here's what I got so far. And speaking of my journal, I thought I would share a couple of things that I did I thought was fun. So I had a very special moment with my dad. I've talked about having a family member who's ill, and it is my father. And I've spent a lot of time with him, and it's been awesome. And he gifted me this beautiful gold cross necklace that I took a picture of, and then I took the wrapping paper that it was, and then the ribbon, and I printed this on sticker paper like I've talked about in the past, and then stuck it down on the wrapping paper, and then cut the wrapping paper around it and added the ribbon underneath it, and then I wrote about Dad giving it to me. So anyway, just my regular journal style, and I think that's it. I guess more than anything, I just wanted to chat about the paper. I know there's a lot of videos out there about this paper. I had even considered of sacrificing this notebook and going through and just writing in random pages, because that's another thing they keep saying, is that it's random pages that are affected. And so I feel that is, I think that's the statement that bothers me the most, is that the pages have been tested, the paper has been tested, and it's these random pages in production, and there's no, they don't know which notebooks they're in. They don't keep track of who it goes to. So there's like this lack of accountability. It's random papers that go to random people. Well, the thing is about paper, it happens to be kind of random, because I can buy a notebook. I mean, there's just not, like, if you think about, like when you do experiments and you have your constants. Well, there's not a lot of constants in this. So, I say person A and person B living in two different countries are using the exact same pen. They get a notebook from the exact same lot. Are they using the exact same ink? Are they even using their notebook? I mean, how many people use their notebook for 100 million different reasons? And maybe they start their notebook, but they don't end this 520-page notebook until, 10 years down the road. Who knows? So I just feel like it's easy for them to say, we don't really know. And maybe they don't, but it just seems like it seems fishy to me. But I do have several Tomoe River paper, old Tomoe River paper notebooks that I have that I can use. I can see now why people were hoarding it, while they were buying up all the cafe notes and all the things several years ago when this new change was announced. I do have a couple that I would be happy to use, or I can just stick with my Leuchtturms. One of my Instagram followers, and you know who you are, called me a Leuchtturm girly, which I think I'm turning into. It's sort of my Leuchtturm era. So anyway, love to hear your thoughts. Have you had trouble with the paper? Nothing, I don't want to bust down on Sterling Ink. I think they're a very nice little company. I don't know. This was still like, this problem, I guess, is just my problem. I don't know. And I have to figure out how to solve it. So I'm joining the others that are frustrated with the current paper situation. It's too bad that's all we don't have to worry about, right? Anyway, thank you for watching. I would love to hear from you.